Okay, people, welcome to the podcast.
We are here and
In the closet.
with our new equipment, we are in the comfort of our own couch. So we're just chilling on the couch.
We're kicking it, as one would say.
Oh, would one say that?
Yeah, we're kicking it.
We're kicking it.
We're kicking it.
Who says that?
Yo. I don't know.
We're kicking it.
People said it.
Yo.
We're kicking it, yo. People said that. People used to say it.
People that you said the key word there. People used to say it.
Oh,
We're hanging.
so
We're chilling.
Comfortable.
We
We're
just got home from
chilling.
dinner. Had dinner with the Dosses.
So fat right now.
Nice little Tuesday evening.
Was a
rock
nice
review.
little. It was a nice little. It was a nice Tuesday evening feast.
It was a feast. It wasn't really a feast necessarily.
It was a feast of chicken tenders.
I had a burger patty with sweet potato fries. Everybody else had chicken tenders. Or not chicken tenders, but chicken wing. What did you all have? You had chicken tenders.
I had the chicken tenders,
What's up with that?
as Chris Wade would call them, the roid tenders.
They are
the steroid
huge
chicken
at
tenders.
recovery.
There's some huge ass chicken tenders.
That's what we brought Brooke home for dinner. But anyway, I have a question. I ran across something
Oh boy.
on Instagram
You
the
never
other day.
You never want to hear your girl say, I have a question, I
No.
ran across something.
No, yeah, right. You follow, well, this person just posted it. It's not his original content, but you follow Sean Baker. He's the
Oh, carnivore guy.
right,
The
but it has
Dr.
nothing to,
Sean Baker.
Right. He's certified on Instagram. Anyway, he didn't it has nothing to do with carnivore, has nothing to do with medicine. But it does kind of have to do with maybe psyche, like the psychology. Okay. So have you seen this? There's a show in the Netherlands.
Have not.
Did you see him post this?
No, I did not.
I was hoping you didn't because I wanted to see your initial reaction.
I have not seen it.
Okay,
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I want you to come over here and watch this video, okay? Because basically what's happening... Hold on.
Is it an orgy?
No.
Oh, it's on Instagram.
Hold on. Okay. So these kids are sitting here.
Right.
Is there volume? And the kids are sitting here. They're children. Adults walk up on the stage in robes and then disrobe. They take their robes off. So now there is adults, male and female, standing in front of children, which I would say
is this
about. These kids are about 10.
This is Sunday morning at a Catholic church, right?
No.
Is that what this is?
Jeff, bad joke. No, this is really a show in the Netherlands. It's for the kids. And there's kids sitting in like chairs. And then, like I said, 4 or 5 adult, male and female alike, come in robes. And then
Can you imagine what they had to sign?
simultaneously, they disrobe. Now, they say it's a show that is trying to teach kids
How to be grossed out?
about how body image. About how everybody has a different body, so not to worry about what yours looks like, and it's showing because it's these males and females are not obviously fitness models,
Right. I see that.
and it's trying to teach them to be okay with your body, and this is the way normal bodies look, not what you see on Instagram, not what you might find on the internet. These are real life people. Now, obviously, this is disturbing. Initially, I look at this and say, this is sick. Initially, I say that. And I still have that feeling. But reading some of the comments, some people make some good points in the comments of this video that this is in the Netherlands. So welcome to Europe.
Well, and the Netherlands, remember, that's where Amsterdam is.
Right.
They're extremely liberal.
Right.
So, I mean, there's prostitution's legal there. Drug use is legal there. They have very low crime rates. They got something going for them.
Nonetheless, though, this is children looking at adult. But
I think it could be done better.
somebody did say that these kids, this is nothing to them. They go to the nude beaches all the time and see men and women walking around naked. These kids are not used. It's not the kid. Now, listen, I'm not defending
Who
the show.
said that and how do they know?
Because it's true.
We have nude beaches here. We don't go. Our kids never go.
Where are nude beaches here?
There's nude beaches there's nude beaches
Where?
in Florida. There's
No,
nude
there's not. Where?
Yes, there are.
Where are
Google
nude
it.
beaches in Florida?
There are nude beaches.
Okay, but I'm just saying it's a norm over there to that the naked body isn't something that they hide in the Netherlands and in Europe.
Well, they should.
But you even know that from
I
watching.
just saw it.
From,
They should.
You know that from watching the UK version of Love Island. It's
Yes.
way more laid back.
They're really big into thongs, I've noticed.
It's not a big deal. Now,
No, it's
I'm
not.
not condoning it. Don't think that I'm defending the show but I'm not. I'm just trying to have an open mind here for a second and say if kids are used to going to beaches and seeing people, this isn't anything for them. I still think it's not necessarily the right way to approach it.
I still don't get the point.
And I don't understand it. And I would never let my kids sit in an audience like that.
But how does that teach kids anything? They're kids. They're going to laugh at that.
I mean, maybe
They're not going to
maybe
be
not.
like, oh, I lost it. What a lesson I learned today.
Now, some people.
They brought old people in and they took their clothes off.
Well, they're not old. They're like middle-aged people. But
They're old to them.
people are saying this is monstrous and this is child abuse. I don't know that I don't know what I feel about it.
Well, I don't know that it's child abuse. The kids look like they were what? Maybe preteens?
Yeah, I would say like
12?
10, 11, 12, yeah.
Their parents signed off on it.
Right. And people are just saying nudity is far more accepted in Europe. People go to like I just said, naked beach all the time. So this is probably really nothing new for these kids. And another person said, "Who gives a shit? They're European. The kids there see people naked all the time, at the beach, water parks, public saunas. I don't see what this has to do with nutrition. However, this seems more like something that I don't understand. But anyway."
Did the post say anything about nutrition?
No, I'm trying to see what the actual. I watched the whole video. I can't remember what the news reporter said. It was exactly. I thought it was body image. I didn't think it was necessarily nutrition. I think that person just didn't know what they were talking about.
Was it nutrition? Like if you don't eat good, this is what your body's going to look like.
No. It was showing people with different. But all these people have different. Hold on. All these people have different body images, and I guess they're trying to teach the kids. Hold on. I don't know what he's saying. He's speaking a different language, so hold on a minute. When the reporter talks.
The show sparked global outrage. I'm Nina Stevens, and you're watching the latest, Australia's #1 digital news show. Let's break down this story for you. The public broadcaster in the Netherlands released the trailer for their new show, Simply Naked. The premise, adult men and women strip their clothes in front of an audience of children. The kids are encouraged to ask any question they have about the human body. The idea is to promote body positivity and to teach children that every body is different and that not all bodies are perfect. The show producers say they will not discuss sex, but despite that assurance, people are outraged. A right-wing Dutch politician says the show comes, quote, close to promoting pedophilia. The public broadcaster defended the program, saying they expected outrage and that it's up to the parents to decide if their kids watch it.
So I definitely would not let my kids watch this.
That makes me even more disturbed.
How?
Listening to that. Because it's a freaking TV show. It's for money. It's for ratings.
Right.
That's
Well, I
not
told you it was
educational.
I told you it was a TV show.
I didn't.
I think TV shows can be educational. Yeah,
They're there to make money or they don't get airtime.
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
So it's not about education.
Okay.
It's about exploiting people and making money.
I agree with you to an extent. I think that
Which is fine when you're not having naked people in front of kids.
I think that you're right. They're doing it for money, but I do think that television shows can be educational. Just put that as out there. But
they can be.
I don't
yes.
think that this
but
is.
But my point is not for not this way. This is like a reality show.
Whether this is kind of.
Yeah,
yes.
it's disgusting.
I mean, it's not really a reality
I'm
show.
disturbed now.
I feel like that where these people saying that these kids are used to seeing nudity, that's probably true. And I don't think that. I think that sometimes kids can be totally sheltered from nudity and think that it's a bad thing, but I don't agree with this show. I don't think that let's put kids in a room, sit them down together, and let's let some adults come and disrobe at the same time in front of them. It's weird. I would never let my kids sit there. I would
Yeah,
never
and
let my kids watch the
what
show.
bothers me is just because some parent signs off on it doesn't mean it's not abusive.
How as a parent really honestly could you sign off on it? Even if
They did, it doesn't mean it's not going to fuck the kid up.
I know that there's some families who are a little less modest than we are, and maybe the parents maybe they don't try to cover themselves all the time, and maybe the kids have seen their parents naked. To me, it's weird. To me, I'm a very modest person when it comes to that. My kids have not on purpose seen me walk around naked. I walked downstairs yesterday with my yoga pants on and a sports bra because I needed my tank top was downstairs in the laundry room. I even felt weird about that because my kids are here, but I'm in sports bra, so I did it.
It's really not a big deal.
But there's some people who would walk downstairs if they needed their clothes naked, and if they ran across their kids, it would be fine. And I'm not judging you. I'm not saying that's anything wrong or bad. I think there's a line. I think there is me who is super modest, and then there's people who maybe are a little way out there open. I don't want my kids to be weirded out by nudity.
Yeah, I don't either. But I almost can guarantee you that none of my children, and they're almost grown except for Nate, have ever seen my dong.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They really haven't. I don't think so. And I want to protect them from that because, especially for the girls, I don't want them to be disappointed for the rest of their life when they can't find something like this.
Oh, gosh. That's
so I've kept it from them so that they don't have to be weirded out.
Even when my kids were little, and when your kids are little, sometimes you bathe with them to save time.
Sure, yeah.
I never even
it's
did that.
Bad.
I'm not saying that it is bad up to a certain age.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
And there was a certain age that, Jeff gave the girls baths all the time up to a certain age, and then he was like, Ange, I'm no longer, or I knew the age. I was like, that's probably not comfortable anymore.
Right, yeah, but it was never a weird thing, I gave them,
of course
they're
not.
babies.
Of course, yeah, but I'm just saying, my whole point being there's so many different levels of being modest, and I think there's a healthy middle. I think that maybe I could have been a little bit less modest and to make it not feel so unnatural. But you know what? It's really weird because Maddie and Brooke are not modest at all, really.
I don't think it has anything to do with how modest or not modest your parents are.
I don't either.
I think it's a natural thing, like that you're just this way. Because our kids don't give a crap.
Our kids aren't modest at all.
No, they could care less.
I mean, I don't know about Nate yet because he's still, he's still at he'll be 13 next week. Oh my gosh, can't believe that. But the girls, Maddie especially, she's totally not modest. I mean, listen, I've said this before. I was so modest, and I still kind of am, that I wouldn't even change clothes in front of the dog.
Right.
I didn't feel comfortable changing my clothes in front of our dog. I would have to be in a room by myself. Now I'll change clothes in front of Jeff, no problem. But it's like, other than that, I feel like weird. Unless I'm like at the doctor's office or something. But like I have a super paranoia of being in my bathroom with the door unlocked and I'm changing clothes and one of the kids just barges in. That would mortify me. I don't know why. I just would.
Right.
But anyway.
I don't know. When I'm open-minded. I'm fairly liberal in things when it comes to sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Wow.
But I don't like when kids are involved. I get a little weirded out.
It's a little weirded out.
I want to protect our children because they're our future.
I think that it is up to the parents to teach the kids about the human body and about being confident in their own body and knowing that not every body is perfect. Right. And you can do that without showing your...
Look, I'm not perfect. I'm going to do class with no shirt on today. It's not necessary.
No, it's not necessary.
They can see your imperfect body with your clothes on.
I mean, I get the premise of the show. Like, okay, ask questions about the human body.
And
but I think that you can do that without standing there being so dramatic and dropping your clothes.
But what questions are you going to ask?
I mean, I think the kids could ask a lot of
Why
questions.
is your sack longer than your dong? I mean, what are they going to ask, honestly?
I don't know. I didn't watch the show. Honestly,
why are your thighs super hairy, but none of the rest of you is?
I would like to try to... I would...
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, what are you going to ask?
I would like to...
Come on, kids. Come up with... We brought these people out here and took up their time so they could strip down. We need questions. What?
I would like to watch one episode just to see what is asked. Now, I don't know if this show
I don't
even
want to watch it on my TV because I would be afraid that they may.
the feds would come in and get
Yeah,
you for
that freaking the Comcast. No, we don't have Comcast. Whoever our providers report us for child porn.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
that the children are, but they'll.
Right.
Whatever. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I don't know. I was disturbed by it as well. Initially, then I started reading the comments. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm still disturbed by it. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, is this a normal thing? I've never been to Europe. I don't know. I heard that they're way more open. You know, even with like wine at dinner at a very young age,
Absolutely.
like you were saying. So it could be that these kids, it's not that big of a deal. But if it's not that big of a deal, then why have this show? They don't need that.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah,
it's like,
I get what you're
why in the
saying.
world are you having the show if they're so used to the argument people are giving on there is the dumbest argument
It
I've
really
ever heard.
is, because then why do you need the show?
The kids are already good to go. They don't have to. They know.
Right.
They should learn so much easier than we do here.
Right.
That bodies aren't perfect because they always see bad naked bodies.
Right.
Here, all we see are freaking airbrushed bodies on Instagram that are perfect.
Right. And I okay, let me ask you this question. If there were, and maybe there are nude beaches in Florida and I just don't know about it. I don't know everything. But if there were, would you go to a nude beach with your kids? Our kids.
Now I would at their age now.
You would? I couldn't. I couldn't. I would be way too, I don't know. That's just where my modesty's coming out. I couldn't be in Florida and be like, hey, Maddie, Kaylee, Brooke, Nate, let's go to this beach. Everybody's going to be nude, but just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Or everybody's going to be topless. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. I say you do you. I have a choice whether I want to come there or not. I'm not.
I get it. You do have a choice whether you want to come there.
Oh, here we
And
go.
you're nude. See, it has some nude beaches in
There
Florida.
are nude beaches in Florida. I didn't know that. I am today years old when I found out that there's nude. Okay, and listen, I don't have a problem with nude beaches. If I don't like it, I don't have to go.
Could you imagine how bad they are? Ugh.
If I don't like it, I don't have to go. But I also would not take my kids. Would you really just say that we're going to this beach? Everybody's gonna be nude. Let's go.
No, I wouldn't take my kids to a nude beach.
You would feel.
I would go to a
Listen,
nude
if you
beach.
take your kids to a nude beach, that's all up to you guys. I'm not. No judgment here. I just would feel uncomfortable with it.
I would too.
I really, honestly, would feel uncomfortable with it.
Oh, it'd be so funny. What a lesson. What a lesson we teach our kids. All people don't have perfect bodies. We're going to take you to the nude beach so you can see that.
I think that kids just naturally know that. But I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to get the kids not to idolize like perfect bodies or what they see on social media as being a perfect body. So that's what I
Sure.
had to bring to you today.
The problem is no matter how much you show kids that it's normal to have a not good body,
Mm-hmm.
or your body's good for somebody out there. I don't know what you're trying to sell here. It doesn't matter how many times you show them that, they're still going to see the good bodies and they're going to go, I want that.
Sure. It's natural.
Right.
Right.
And I want that. Not necessarily I want to touch it, but I want to have it. I want to be that.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Right. But
Until
I think
you get to our age and then you're like, you know what?
I still want that.
I'm good. Like,
I mean, whatever. But
why,
I mean,
why would I want to work that hard?
I think that
It's so much work.
I think our job as parents is you don't necessarily need to show these bodies, but just let them know what you see on Instagram isn't always 100% accurate.
No.
I'm not saying these people don't have good bodies and these people
And
look
good
at
for them.
yeah, if you're not, you know what I mean? But a lot of these pictures are photoshopped and they're airbrushed and this
It's
and
true.
that. And just like we were talking about at dinner today, we were listening to another name drop, James Smith, who's a personal trainer on Instagram. He's big in the UK as well. Australia, maybe even. I don't know. But he was talking today about these people who are on Instagram who always portraying themselves as having abs. And that's not always necessarily the case. They might have had abs at that moment, but they don't necessarily walk around 365 days a year with having those abs, because abs like that are really hard to get and really hard to keep. So he was trying to make people aware that, yes, they may have had them then, but they might not have them now, to not dwell on always trying to walk around with a six-pack that most people don't, even in the fitness industry, even in the, I'm telling you, I know for a fact that I know a lot of personal trainers and a lot of bodybuilders, and yes, they do get into that shape. Absolutely 100%. They get into that shape and they look amazing, and they take a bunch of pictures and they stockpile a bunch of pictures while they're show ready, so to speak. And then when they're not, when the show season's over, when, they're on a bulk season and stuff and they've kind of put on a little bit of fluff, they're not taking pictures then. You know what I mean? So all their
not
pictures,
the same, but yeah.
But they're using, and I don't blame them. I'm not blaming anybody for doing this. But all their stockpile pictures are being used during that time, so it seems to be
that they
they're
maintain
always,
that all the time.
Right, and they don't, and they'll be the first to tell you. I'm not busting on them. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to explain the process. That's what happens.
Right.
I would do the same thing if I was a bodybuilder. I'm
Right.
not. I mean, my pictures are real all the time. Sometimes I'm more fluffy, as I am now, than others, and I'm going to show that. Am I going to get real down into the nitty gritty with it? Not necessarily, but you can see on my pictures that some months I'm fluffier than others, and sometimes I'm really tight and lean. It just depends, because I'm a real person. I'm not saying people who compete aren't real, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not a competitor. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm just a fitness
I liked
enthusiast.
what he said too about everybody has different bodies. So depending on your body type and your build and your metabolism, everything can make it so that you might be able to maintain it. You might be a freak of nature in a way and maintain that six-pack, but that's not normal.
Right.
It's like being 18 to 25. I remember that, where I always had no fat on my body because it was impossible because of the way my body was working then. But once I fully developed, it's impossible the other way to keep it that lean unless I really am strict about what I eat. But my body's naturally not built for that. But some people are.
Right.
Some people are just ripped.
A lot of people, it is genetics. And another thing that I like that he touched on, and again, we're talking about James Smith. He's a personal trainer on Instagram. Anyway, he always touches on, which I really appreciate, because you don't see a lot of male trainers touch on this subject. You see a lot of female trainers touching on it, but you don't see males, because sometimes I think males think this is bullshit, and it's not. But he touched on women naturally having more body fat than men because we have to maintain pregnancy, to be able to have babies. That's the way that we were made. And he also touches on, which I appreciate, hormones. Hormonally, women have more to deal with than men, and it adds on body fat and it adds on weight. And he touches on that, and he tells women not to beat themselves up.
All I'm hearing is the excuses. That's all I'm hearing.
No, it's not. I'm going to knock you over the freaking head with this microphone if you weren't so far across on the other side of the couch, and I have to climb all the way over there.
I'm kidding.
No, but I mean, I do appreciate that, because a lot of men think that way. Think
they
that,
do.
oh,
they
that's
do.
an excuse.
Yes.
You can't use hormones. Yes, you
No,
absolutely
you can.
100% can.
Hormones are a mother.
Can you combat them? Can you fight them? Yeah. I mean,
Well, you can because
It's
you
just-
know, and you're a personal trainer and you're an expert in the field. But a lot of women can't. They don't know how to.
Well, a lot of women think, it can't be done, but it absolutely 100% can. It just takes a lot of hard work and a lot of discipline, and adjustments. I mean, I know that I started hormones back in what was it, September, October,
like that.
October, and I have put on 5 pounds, and it is not a good 5 pounds. It's straight to my lower belly, and I know that. Am I stuck with this forever? No, I have to figure out a way to get rid of it. And it might take some creativity. It might take, I've got to figure out what the actual formula is, which I will, and I'll do it. But people, a lot of women just think, oh, I've had babies, I've had this, and now I'm on birth control, and now I'm on this, and oh crap, I have a thyroid problem, so now I'm just going to be a little bit overweight the rest of my life. No, you don't have to do that.
And you can just love me for me.
Which is fine. If that's the way you go
And
about
you
it, and that's your
should.
attitude, and if you're happy, that's fine. If you're not unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? If you're not to the point where you're overweight, where it's really honestly affecting your health.
Yes.
Being 10 to 15 pounds overweight is not necessarily going to affect your health dramatically.
No.
I mean, it can, but it's not dramatically. But if you're quite overweight and it's affecting your life in a way that's not healthy, your knees are hurting, your backs are hurting because you're carrying too much weight, you're putting strain on your heart, you're just not healthy, then yeah, you better do something about it. And you can't, you know what I'm saying? But if you're
Yes.
saying, but a lot of those people say, I love myself for who I am, and that's great. I think you should, but you're also killing yourself if you don't get rid of some of that weight.
I agree.
Right. So anyway, I don't know where I got off on that tangent, but I'm just saying I ran across that today, and I appreciated that. So I guess I was just saying, us as parents, it's our responsibility to teach our kids about the images that you see on social media, on the internet, that it's not always accurate. So don't beat yourself up, because you have teenage girls, girls in their in their early 20s that still might look at those images and compare and be upset about it.
Right.
What'd you just look at the door for?
I just heard something, but it must have been you.
It was. I just picked up my wine glass and it
That's
hit
what
my
it
colored
was.
pencils because I've been adult coloring. So judge me. I dare you.
I thought that sounded like the door was opening. So I
No,
thought Nate was busting it.
I think I just.
All
I
I
just
know,
said
all I can think of now is those freaking people that walked out in robes and took their clothes off in front of kids. Who the hell are they?
Yeah, you
and what
volunteered.
kind of people are they?
You got paid. Maybe they got paid.
I'm being judgmental, and I don't care. I don't like them, any of them.
We don't have to like them.
I think they're idiots, and I
agree.
I don't know where their parents were, their whole life, or why they would walk out in front of kids. I can't take my clothes off in front of my own kids.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't take my. How can they take their clothes off in front of a room full of kids for the sake of education? You think you're helping their mental health by showing them your nasty body? That's not good for those kids' heads.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing at all.
And maybe what I'm saying is terrible and it's controversial.
I mean, I think it's
But
controversial, but
it's the honest truth that's coming from where I feel deep in my soul.
it's your opinion and you're entitled to it. And so everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I mean, I would like to have some other input on this, but I definitely think that it's disturbing.
We're so weird as humans. We come up with the dumbest ideas, and we take them so seriously.
We do come up with dumb ideas.
It's amazing. Even the good ones, it's like we take them way too seriously. As
Example.
humans.
What do you mean? I don't understand what you're saying.
Like, hey, let's teach these kids to feel better about themselves by marching naked people out in front of them on TV.
I don't know that it's
And
to
let
make them
them
feel
ask
better about
questions.
themselves. I think it's to make them aware of the human body and let them ask questions about the human body and to see that human bodies are imperfect and very different, and they vary from person to person.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that, but I still think it's not really like. Isn't there a better way? Can we draw a diagram?
Where's the adults
like?
here?
I mean, to be the host of that show.
Right. Where are the adults?
What kind
Where's
of
the adult that
creepo
says,
is
hey,
that?
this is not a good idea, kids? And when I say kids, I'm talking about everybody in the room, not just the kids, but the adults. Hey, this isn't a good idea. We shouldn't march anybody naked in front of other people.
I just can't imagine going for a interview or whatever you do when you're interviewing for a show, and you want to be a host of a TV show or a game show, and you go and you're like, what? And you actually can go for an interview to be the host of a show that says, we're going to put some 10 to 12-year-olds in the audience, and then we're going to march in adults in robes, and then they're going to stand in front of the kids, and they're going to disrobe, and then the kids are going to ask questions, and you have to host this show.
I would immediately start looking around the room for Chris Hansen
Who the hell signs up for that?
to catch a predator. I would be like, it wasn't me. I don't know who you think I am, but I didn't do anything.
I would be.
I don't want it. I don't want your show. I don't want your kids. I don't want your naked people.
I would be looking for Ashton Kutcher in that show. What was that joke show? Like we played a joke on you. Like,
Yeah,
we're just
I
kidding.
can't remember. But you know Catch Predator. with
Yeah,
Chris
I know
Hansen.
who that is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would think that somebody was. I would probably laugh and say, "Wait, is this a practical joke?" Because
You're really going to do that?
are you serious?
You're
right
really
now?
going to do that?
But this guy who hosts the show is like, "Okay, I'll
Yeah.
do it."
This is my chance at being famous.
I mean, are you serious?
I'm going to get to host a show
How can you sleep at
and
night?
help these children ask these naked adults questions
That's so
about their
disturbing.
body.
That's so disturbing. If I was the host of that show, I would never be able to have sex again in my entire life. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Period. Anyway, I couldn't wait to talk to you about that. We hadn't talked about that. You didn't even know I was bringing it
It's
up.
a good topic.
I did put it on our podcast list, but I was hoping you didn't see it. And if you did, I tried to put it in a way where you would be like, "What the heck is she talking about?" And you wouldn't. I don't even know how I titled it. How did I title it? You obviously haven't looked at the podcast.
I almost
list.
did because when I got in the notes, I saw it. It pops up at the top that you'd updated it,
Oh, you almost got on there.
but I didn't get on there. I forgot to.
All I put under podcast topics was naked show in Netherlands. So
I would have been thinking this is going to be hot.
Right? No, it's
I'd be like,
not.
this is great. Naked people.
I'm taking it off the list as we speak, but no, it's not hot at all. Sorry, I was reading our other topics. I'm like, oh yeah, we need to talk about that. We have some decent topics on our list, but anyway. So there's that. So I don't know if this show ever made it on air. I would love to do a follow-up to see.
I would too. I don't want to watch
Because
it.
I don't know if the show is just pitched, and I can imagine it never actually took place. That maybe they did a pilot series or pilot episode and was like, yeah, no, that felt weird.
I would hope that they would have to run it by somebody that goes, "Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?" Like, I would hope that they'd run it by somebody.
Is there not like some
And not that I'm grouchy.
regulations
I'm not
there?
grouchy, and I'm not.
we
I'm
know
not
you're
a
not.
prude.
We all know you.
But when it comes to kids and nudity, I'm out.
If it's offended Jeff, then it's bad.
I like to make jokes about
Yeah,
that
I don't.
stuff.
I don't like to even
but
make jokes about that. See, I think you're warped for that.
I am warped.
You are. Like, if you can make jokes about that, like, I think that's just like, I don't know. I don't like it, but that's just me. Where we have there's only a few things that you like to joke about that I'm out on that, and I'll have to leave the room when you're
Right.
joking about it because I can't. And I'm not uptight or a prude either. But there's just some things that rub me wrong, and that's one of them.
Yeah, you need the jokes to make it easier sometimes.
You don't.
Yeah, you do.
You don't need the jokes about that.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
You do. I think
You're really aggravating me right now.
I think the spacing on that table is off.
I think you're off.
I think if I go measure that notch over here
What are you
and that
talking
notch
about?
over there, they're going to be a different size. It looks like the sculptor who made that table fucked it up. It's not noticeable to the naked eye, but to the Jeff eye.
Nice little pun there.
I can see
What are you talking about? What
that
notch?
that notch underneath it goes like that, the swoosh.
Oh,
One side is smaller than the other.
it is.
side.
The right side's smaller.
Yep.
It is. It's a
Yep.
throw the table out.
Damn it. I kind of like
How
that
do
table
you-
till now.
How do you notice things like that?
It just catches my eye. The imperfections. The imperfections, they just catch my eye.
You're so weird.
Especially when it comes to tables. Tables and pictures and stuff like that.
Well, you're special.
I've been told that many times.
You're special.
Exactly in that tone.
All right, I'm done here. I'm so glad that I enlightened you on a new show in the Netherlands. If you're wanting to check it out, you could try to Google it, but I wouldn't because they'll come after your computer.
It's on the I'm a Pedophile network.
That was so weird. Like, don't Google it, please. You all will get your stuff taken away, and then you're going to blame us. The Runyons told us to do it, and then we're going to have the feds beating our door down, and I don't need
it was
that kind of
interesting.
action tonight. So, anyway, I like podcasting on the couch.
I do too. This was easy. It's
I
relaxed.
do.
We
I-
can just
I could
talk
talk
naturally.
forever.
We could just talk about whatever. We could do a live show podcast.
A live show podcast?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't think that you do.
I don't.
I don't even understand what that means.
I was just going to say while we're watching a show, we could just sit here and talk.
Well, we
But
could,
that'd be weird probably
because all we watch is Love Island UK right now.
right now.
We're binge watching it. So, anyway, this has been good. We're going to do another one on the couch. I like it.
On the couch with Angie Jeff.
All right. I'm done.
We out.
Peace out.